All right, and we are live. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Reverend Evelyn from Sacred Creative Soul Speaks, and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Please forgive me for all of the notifications you're going to see for this live. We had some technical difficulties getting in, but we are here. Kyla, good to see you. Karina, thank you for joining. So this is Wisdom Wednesday, and I have the honor of interviewing one of my beloved mentors, Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh. And I'm going to pray us in, and then I'm going to have her introduce herself. Third time's a charm. Thank you, Kyle. Yes, it took us 3 times to get connected.
It's working. That's all we know.
It's working. Thank you, technology gods. All right, so I'm going to just breathe in for a second after all that insanity of the technology. And so I'm just going to take a breath. So what I know is that there is one love, one law, one spirit, one mind. And I feel the love of the one surrounding me, supporting each one of us in this moment. And I am so grateful to be one, with that power which created everything I see. And so I invite the presence of the one to be with us, to hover over this gathering of those who are here watching live and those who will watch the replay. And I am grateful for the presence of my beloved friend, Michelle Wadleigh, and for all the wisdom that she will share. I'm grateful for every person who's lending their energy to this space for this call. And again, for those who will watch on the replay. And so I bless this day, I bless this time together, and I release this word into the perfect law, knowing that all that we will discuss this evening is just beautiful and perfect. I allow it to be so, and so it is. Amen.
So it is. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we have Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh here. I would love for you to introduce yourself, and then we're going to sort of talk about the topic for tonight is forgiveness, because she has just yesterday published a refreshed copy of her book, Forgiveness. And I was fortunate enough to work with her with this material before it became a book. So I'm excited to talk to her about it. So go ahead and introduce yourself if you would.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for having me right now, because it is fresh, literally fresh. It just hit the stores. I mean, there was an earlier version, but there's a much improved version and expanded, so I'm glad. So, who am I? My name is Michelle. I'm a Jersey girl, and I came to the point of writing this book out of absolute necessity. Well, forgiveness in my life was a necessity. The book was the gift. The book became the gift, because in everything that I do, and working as a spiritual coach, life coach, counselor, spiritual counselor, and all the work that I do with individuals, I noticed that people were attached to their pain and suffering. And so while I was working spiritually with people, I saw that they needed some more tools. And in my experience, the book became the gift. And in my experience, forgiveness helped them to detach from their stories. And so forgiveness I think it gets overlooked a little bit. People have contrary ideas about what it's about, and often people mislabel it as a way to give license for people to keep doing harm, and that's not it at all. It's certainly not the position I bring. But I am just a woman who is passionate about people. And my passion is about being an influence, and being a support and a teacher and a mentor and a coach to anyone who wants freedom. And I'm talking about the freedom to be you, the freedom to be wildly, wonderfully alive, and to detach from pain and stories and all of that. And so I have poured my heart out into this book. I got to be honest. I've poured my heart out. I've made it as user friendly as I possibly could. Um, I've tried to keep any jargon from my own spiritual practices out of it and go, mainstream more because
Mhm.
I don't want just a small crowd of people to benefit. I want anyone who wants it to benefit from it. So, yeah, that's why I'm here, and it has just in case you're interested, there is the first book I wrote that was published with this publisher, which is St. Martin's Press, is my shadow work book, and they're a beautiful compliment. So I just wanted to call that into the room. So, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I wanna share that I have known Reverend Michelle for, I think, almost 13 years. I joined her spiritual center when she was she is the founding director, the founding minister of the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey. And so, when I moved to New Jersey, um, nothing but spirit led me to that center. And when I walked through the doors, I felt right at home. And I came with the intention to become a practitioner because I had been studying with a woman named Jennifer Hadley, Reverend Jennifer Hadley, and she was a Science of Mind practitioner. And so I was like, I wonder if I could become a practitioner like in New Jersey. And so I found the center and started studying. So when I mentioned earlier at the top of the call that I had the good fortune of studying this material with Reverend Michelle before it was a book, it was a PDF. It was a PDF that we stapled in the corner, and we all were like filling in the blanks and that forgiveness work that I did as when I was training to become I am a Science of Mind practitioner in addition to being an ordained minister. And my practitioner training ran right into my ministerial training. And that forgiveness training really, really helped to prepare me for it was actually more advanced than the forgiveness work that we did in my ministerial. I mean, taking nothing away from the seminary I attended, but Reverend Michelle's forgiveness work really helped to prepare me. And I was
mm,
able to share a little bit of that with my cohort at my seminary. So it's really been, a blessing in my life, which is why when I saw that this book was coming out, I was like, oh, I have to get Reverend Michelle on so we can talk about it.
yeah. Thank you.
So, yeah, yeah. So on my Substack, I have written about forgiveness from my perspective. And one of the comments that I got from someone on one of my posts said that forgiveness is just letting people off the hook. What do you say to that? Like,
Yeah.
how is your approach to forgiveness different from letting people off the hook?
Oh, has nothing to because, and I'm gonna speak to a high level in here,
Mhm.
and I'll trust that all the right people are gonna hear this at the right time.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anyone else. When I talk about forgiving someone else, what I'm really talking about, and if you wanna throw some quantum words in there, I'm talking about disentangling our lives from our offenders, from the perpetrators, so that I can live my life on my own, fully, completely empowered, and I don't lose my life by making sure that someone else is wrong or by trying to get someone else punished. I mean, there are people, there will always be hard people. They're always going to exist. But when we, those of us who are interested in this, when we take our power back, what we are saying is, I don't give you room to harm me anymore.
Mm.
That's what it is. So from the example of very people that just irk you to people that have harmed you. And I've seen it all. I've been through it all. I have not arrived here unscathed by my life. I wanna say if it wasn't for my spirit, my dedication to this work, I would very likely be on the floor in the fetal position, sucking my thumb, crying
Mhm.
because I went through a lot of stuff, and I speak about it to a degree in the book. The reason why I'm free is because I owned my own power and released those people, which meant I took my power back. No one is meant to be a doormat. No one is ever meant to be a doormat. And you don't have to keep being in someone's life. You don't have to stay in relationship with them. You can create boundaries, both hard boundaries, and I call them soft boundaries sometimes, too different. But your freedom will come because you're just not attaching to the story anymore.
Mm.
It has
I love
nothing to do with the other person. It's all about you and your freedom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a high level, and it's something that is, I feel, challenging for the average person, the muggles, of the world, because, I
Mhm.
mean, I could say for myself that I know in the past that I have, it's gonna sound weird, but taken comfort in nursing grudges. Like, I felt
Absolutely.
that if I, in my mind, let them off the if I forgive them, if I let them off the hook, then, um, what do I have left? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god. Yes. And what I wanna say to those who might be thinking, "What the hell?" There's so much life and juice and beauty and expansive there's so much to be enjoyed in life, and my concern about anyone who kinda hides behind those statements is you don't realize that you are sacrificing your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. You and I cannot maintain a position of choosing to stay angry for whatever reason, and think that our lives are going to be fully expressed. You might not notice because you're so used to functioning.
yeah.
We know how to function, right? So we know how to. Well, I was just going to go into a very deep explanation, but I'll keep it easier. W- we know how to function on top of dysfunction.
Yes.
And so most of us walk around doing that. We ignore it. We think, oh, if I don't pay attention to it, it's not bothering me. People, that's not so. It's just not so. That's not the way it works. Some part of you are bothered. If you are carrying the pain, the resentment, the righteousness, the anger, if you're carrying it in your heart, you are impacted,
Yep.
even if you're not paying attention to it on a day to day basis. There are so many reasons to forgive, and there are so many ways that not forgiving hides in us. And oh my God, the glorious freedom that comes when you start forgiving, start letting go, choosing not to just give your power away anymore.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's it's big. It's really big, and you don't always notice the things you've given up for it. And righteousness is a big thing. And right now, there's a lot of stuff going on in this country. Lot of reasons for a lot of people to feel very righteous, right?
Mhm.
But I'm saying to all of your listeners that righteousness is blinding and it blinds you from your good.
Yep.
If anything, you want to get to neutral.
Mm.
If anything, you want to get to neutral. Because when that pendulum swings, and because others might agree with you, doesn't make it right.
Exactly. Exactly.
As
Yeah,
yeah,
you can get people to collude with, yeah, with
yeah.
your, yeah. Um, so I thought of an example, because I've heard this example before. So I can't believe that it's been 10 years since the Mother Emanuel AME, um, in South
Oh,
Carolina,
oh,
that shooting, right? And, This young man walked into a prayer service.
Yep.
People were praying. They prayed for him, and then he killed 9 of them.
Yep.
Okay. The next day, a group of people who had lost loved ones, and other members of the church went on national television and forgave him.
Mm.
I'm not going to say his name. They forgave this perpetrator for what he had done the day before. And then there was this big uproar of people saying, "Oh, they shouldn't have forgiven him, and what he did was unforgivable." So, can you speak to what is unforgivable?
Yeah.
What is
And
unforgivable, and what do you say to those people who said, "You people were weak by you showed weakness and acquiescence by um, uh, forgiving him so quickly or at
great,
all?"
great question. And number one, I just want to tell you that that horrific shooting came very close to home with us because one of our board members at the spiritual center at the time was cousin to one of the people who were killed.
Yeah, I mean, my former sister-in-law was a colleague of the one of the people who was shot. A seminary
So
colleague. Yeah,
yeah, so it hit us. It really hit us,
yeah,
directly and right away.
yeah.
So a few things. One, you can forgive too soon. I want to say that you can forgive too soon. If you are feel compelled to forgive because someone told you to, because your religion told you to, but you have not done a little bit of the deep personal dive, it could show up as spiritual bypass, and I'll explain that in case some of your listeners are not
Mhm.
familiar with that term. Spiritual bypass is what we call in this realm that we're in, this metaphysical spiritual realm. Spiritual bypass is when you try to get to another point in your life without digging in the going to the deep, without going into the deeper part of your emotions and the healing. And the truth is, I know this personally because I know I forgave someone in my life way too quickly, and it came back years later. So we don't want to forgive out of obligation. We don't want to forgive out of, you know, Jesus, okay, big on forgiveness, and yet, and I'm all about it. Clearly, I'm all about it. But what I do believe is that there needs to be some time processing, emotional processing time, because otherwise we can just be giving someone license. I also know that some of that criticism of those individuals were doing it, they felt that they were compelled because those who criticized them were criticizing them because they felt they were compelled because of their religion and that he didn't deserve it that quickly. This is very sensitive right now.
Mhm.
Sensitive, you brought up a sensitive subject. Forgiveness, again, is not about the perpetrator. See, that's the difference.
Yeah.
I forgive, I release, I let go so I can be free. Because there's always gonna be hard stuff. I I wish that as humans, we would learn a collective lesson and then we wouldn't have to repeat it. That no other child would ever be abused again, that no one else would ever be dragged into human trafficking, that no other racist remark would ever be spoken. I wish that we just learn the lesson and be done. However,
Mhm.
however, it's not so. So those of us who really do learn these lessons and learn them deeply, it's important that then our legacy is to make it easier for the next generation
Yes.
and for those around us. I in my family of origin, I have lots of reason to be really angry and disgusted um, and I could get you all to agree with me very likely if I told you stories. But I don't want your agreement with my anger.
Mm.
I wanna bask. I wanna to sound all woo-woo at the moment, but I want to bask in the light of love.
Yeah.
And my righteousness, it that was a horrible situation. We have seen in this country so many horrible situations. And that was horrible, and the one for some reason, the one that has that real, like, trigger inside of me was also Sandy Hook school, what was it called? The school shooting, all the children.
Yeah.
Because I remember that day I was in the hairdresser,
Mhm.
and, there was only, one hairdresser, a customer that she was taking care of, and me in the shop. And, oh, they had the radio on, and I didn't know this had just happened, and it came on the radio, and they were talking about something else, and I'm sitting there, and I'm, like, breaking down, and I said out loud in the room, "Are you guys hearing this?" I said, and I couldn't think, how could anyone talk about anything other than what we just heard? I was devastated. The how qu and that's the other thing too. That's the thing about spiritual bypass, because then we can numb ourselves to things.
Yes.
We need to have a so forgiving is different from being intolerant, but we need to be intolerant of this stuff.
Absolutely.
And that means, creating those boundaries that are healthier. But if those of us who can forgive,
Mhm.
we need to. And we need to hold on to the other people so we can kind of pave the way and model what that looks like. And it's not about letting somebody off the hook. I guarantee that person whose name I don't remember, so I can't mention it anyway.
Mhm.
I guarantee that person has to take care of his own karmic debt. No one outlives their own evil, their personal evil.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me all worked up, my body. I'm like, yeah, but yeah, like when I do get passionate when I talk about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, we've seen some horror. We've seen some horror
Yeah.
in this country. It's so sad.
Yeah.
And well, never mind. Go
Yeah.
ahead. You go.
Yeah, so when we talk about how forgiveness is for when I forgive, it's for myself.
Mhm.
So going back to the question of what is unforgivable. So that would mean
Oh,
that really nothing would be truly unforgivable. I mean, if the forgiveness is self-forgiveness, right? If it lives
yeah.
within.
Yeah, this is forgiveness in its highest form is a masterful skill. It's a master level skill. Because you and I we could just enumerate right now, make lists of things that we think are not forgivable. We could make and I could give oh god, I get so worked up when I start to talk about this stuff because I know the human suffering. It's yeah, there's so much human suffering.
Yeah.
But the only like for my as you know, Evelyn and I know each other well. I have 4 grandchildren.
Mhm.
What I wanna when I'm around my grandchildren, I wanna be the presence of love.
Yes.
And I cannot be the presence of love if I'm walking around angry, righteous, pissed off, judgmental, making people wrong, criticizing others, and you're right, there are many things we could agree about how wrong things are. But I wanna be the presence of love for them, and I can't do that if I'm angry.
Yeah.
Or if I walk around in anger. I don't wanna make anger wrong. Anger has its place in
Yep.
our lives.
Anger
You
can be
know?
very powerful.
Yes.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I just thinking back, I know when I was in seminary, and we were talking about doing this work, right? This work that you talked about, this deep work, was because we needed to clear our vessel, clear ourselves as a vessel, so that we can hold space for the people that we're working with.
Yeah.
However, as we mentioned, muggles, like regular walking on the street people, they're not sitting around clearing their vessel, right? So what are some things that, if people want to keep a healthy balance of forgiveness, like if you're sitting around thinking, gosh, I'm still holding a grudge against fill in the blank. What's like a practical practice that someone can adopt to sort of like make sure that when they become aware, oh, you know what, I'm nursing a grudge against Mr. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you recommend?
The truth is, the first thing that comes to my mind is not even mine, but it's the Hawaiian practice, and I always say it incorrectly. Apologize.
Ho'oponopono?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that it complements my work perfectly. I speak about it in the book, and I teach it in the classes
Mm-hmm.
because that practice is about letting go through a conscious choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the the internal cleansing, the shifting of awareness and consciousness, and that's what my work is about. So, if you could do nothing else but that practice, it's a great start.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I would say is that I would remember that I want my freedom.
Mm.
Like, I pull it back, like, I want my freedom more than I wanna be right. I want my freedom. Oh god, you get me all emotional. I want my freedom. I want my freedom more than I wanna make you wrong.
Yeah.
I want my freedom, and I want it so much, and I wanna be so filled with that there's no room in me to be host, to be host to the anger and resentment. So, for anybody listening, you're gonna you want your own love, your own freedom, your own peace of mind more than holding on to and adopt and subscribing to the stories. And it could be little things, and I mean, listen, I still get irked, you know, but my irks don't last as long. They're oh, I do have something else too. They're by far less frequent, and they don't have the juice that they used to.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. And the thing that got me there, and I do wanna mention this, because there is definitely something that needs to be part of this, and it needs to be it when you begin your practice, during your practices, and even beyond, and that is the practice of non-judgment.
Yes.
Because
That's a
and
huge part of your classes. That's a huge part.
yes.
You wanna speak to
Yeah.
that a little bit about that? There's a
Yeah.
paper that we have to fill out at the beginning of every class. Like,
Yep.
you come to the classroom, you sit in the chair, and you get handed a piece of paper and a pen, like, before we even say a word.
Yeah, I well, for every and now everything's online, but
Yeah.
what happens is whenever anyone takes a class with me, any of my classes, they get this pre-work, and the pre-work is I have them start well, from the moment they register, actually. They start a practice through my encouragement, a practice of non-judgment, non-complaining, and non-gossip. Okay. But let's speak specifically about non-judgment, though, although they're all intertwined, they all play off of each other. I'm going to say something that maybe the audience might or might not agree with, but this is what I teach, that you only have to forgive someone or something once you've judged it. And I want to let that land a little bit. So so once you if I judge Evelyn as doing something wrong, if I had if I blamed her earlier for the technology problem, let's just say that was it. and then I'd have to forgive her, but I'd be forgiving how I'm holding resentment about her. It would have nothing to do with you. And this is just an example, folks. This is not real. So non-judgment means with enough practice of non-judgment, you begin to cultivate compassion. So I teach people to replace, and since teaching this for many years, I've seen it other places. So I guess it's one of those drop down things from the universe, right? You replace being judgmental with being curious.
Yep.
So you say I'm from New Jersey, so we always have traffic and we have interesting drivers sometimes. So instead of, flipping somebody off and going off and losing my own power, because I want to keep saying that to the listener. When you're in your judgment and your righteousness, you're losing your power. You're bleeding out your energy. That's what's happening. So instead of immediately making somebody wrong, the curiosity would kick in and say something like, I wonder, maybe they didn't see my car here. I wonder why they're driving like that. Oh, uh, do I even have to make that person wrong for, when we have stop signs and people think they're just a suggestion? Well, do I even need to form an opinion about that? Because if I'm forming an opinion, then I have to back up that opinion.
Yeah.
But if I practice non-judgment, I start to sit back a little bit and I loosen my hold on everything that I think I'm supposed to be having opinions about. And so, you know, I don't have to judge my husband for buying parsley instead of, cilantro. you know, but
Easy
there
mistake in the grocery store.
easy mistake, right? I don't have to, but if you're someone, because now we're speaking about the bigger audience, if you find yourself regularly annoyed by someone, even if somebody you love, look at how you're judging them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's your judgment that causes you to need to then forgive because here's another very important thing. You can't judge someone without carrying them with you.
Mm-hmm.
So the weight that we carry, and sometimes physically, the weight that we carry is because we are attached to our judgments. So the more people that I judge, the more people I make wrong, the more people I have to carry it inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And our hearts become hardened. We become separate from others.
Yep.
Freedom, the freedom of letting go, the freedom of non-judgment, the freedom of forgiveness. Once you get a taste of it, you will not be willing to tolerate your own anger anymore
Mm.
because you can lose your taste for it.
Yeah.
For some people enjoy being angry, right?
Yeah.
And
It keeps them warm.
yeah.
I
Stimulated.
mentioned a little bit of comfort level there
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I feel it's habitual. It can build
Yes.
on itself.
Yes. But if you practice this and you clean that up, you will lose your taste
Absolutely.
for that.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. So earlier you mentioned Ho'oponopono. So we sort of glanced by it a little bit. I wanted to sort of circle back because
Okay.
I was listening to an interview with someone whose name escapes me. I don't think it really matters. But in meditation, he felt that spirit told him to take the Ho'oponopono that's like a certification that you can take, which I find. And he was like, really? Like, is that really necessary? Because he had been getting excellent results with just
Mhm.
reciting the basic
Mhm.
Ho'oponopono cleaning.
Mhm.
And so this is what he shared, what he got. And so I have been writing this in my journal. It's sort of a modification. And I know that there's like a long version of Ho'oponopono, which is like several paragraphs long. But this one is sort of a short modification
Hmm.
that says, so instead of the basic Ho'oponopono, which is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Right. And so you just sort of, you're not saying that, you're saying that
Except I
within your
think is
own consciousness.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just a slightly different order.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this one is, I love you, God. I am sorry for not recognizing your love and divine orchestration in every moment of my life. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Mm.
So instead of just saying, I'm sorry, it's like, it's
Mhm.
very precise. I'm
Mhm.
sorry for not recognizing your love and divine orchestration in every moment of my life. Um, and so, if anyone is curious about it, you can go look up Ho'oponopono. The person who sort of brought it to this culture is Dr. Hugh Len.
Mhm.
And it's a fascinating story. It's a powerful practice.
Mhm.
Um,
I
if you want to,
I want to give you because I use the practice as it is because I know what it means to me, right? But I also sometimes extend it. So it's I'm sorry. And it might be depends on the situation. I'm sorry for making you wrong. Please forgive me for being righteous. I love you and I love the heart of you. And thank you for showing me myself. Because now I'm really engaged in the other person, so I will play off of those. So I agree with that person.
yeah,
I keep it pure for those, and
yep.
it's funny how right away I started doing the sign language because in my class I teach them, because I think hand movements and mantras, or the excuse me, the mudras. I think mudras are powerful, and the sign language.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
somatic. So yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, we don't heal between our ears. It's, it's in the body.
right,
So
right.
yeah, I love that. So you want to talk a little bit about the book? Is there anything you want to like?
Well, I'd like to show them the book
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
It is available at
Yeah.
Barnes& and Noble and Amazon and your other, it's available on Audible, on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm so and not just Audible. One of my students just found it in Spotify. So
Did
it's
you
available.
record it?
I recorded it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Because
This
I heard,
was
did you have to audition?
No, what happened was, it's publishing is very complicated.
Yeah.
And my publisher, they didn't want to record it because it was a workbook, right? But this other company, this outside company wanted to. And they happened to hire somebody who was a recording studio that's 20 minutes from me. And so they offered me the opportunity and I said
Wow.
yes. And it wasn't fun. It was a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was not what I thought it would be, but very satisfying. Um, Very, very satisfying. So I haven't even heard it because I asked them for a pre-copy, but they didn't send it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a writer, and she wanted to record her book, and the publisher made her audition.
I guess they got lucky because I know that they liked working with me because they've said so. So they put in a bid for my next book.
Yeah.
So I'm recording my next book with them also, which
Nice.
is yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
Wonderful.
But the thing about the book is I really I've broken it down and made it it's called, a path not inside the book, it's called A Workbook for Emotional and Spiritual Freedom,
Mhm.
but then it's broken into 3 sections: a path, a promise, and a way of life. So, the path is to kinda lay out what it is we're doing. The promise takes you a little bit through the how to. Um and then the way of life is, well, what happens once you forgive somebody? And that's where like the practice of non-judgment really kicks in. And I say in the book in many places, it's good to forgive, but it's better to not have to forgive. And I can manage not to forgive if I haven't made you wrong, if I haven't made you evil, if I haven't made you my perpetrator. Having said that, I know the statistics. There are a lot of abused people out here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, boy, I got chills up and down my spine again. I'm one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say to those that are listening, if you are one of those people, you can be free. You're not stuck. You are not stuck. You are not stuck. I I could just sit here saying that all night.
Yeah.
You can still be free of the pain, of the trauma, and of the abuse. You can be. How do I know? I did it. And I've walked hand in hand with many people over the years, many people who have been through that. Um,
So do you want to speak a little bit to the energetics of forgiveness? Because I know when I was taking my practitioner training with you and we were in the forgiveness section,
mhm.
back then we were also reading Radical Forgiveness.
Yeah, that used to be my go-to.
Yeah,
Mhm,
beautiful book. I also read that
mhm,
with Rev and Jennifer. Um, and you've heard this story before, but these people have not, so bear with me. Um, when we were going through the forgiveness module of the practitioner training, we happened to be on a break. My sister called, and she was just telling me, "I've had enough, and I don't know that I can continue to be married to this man." And I adore my brother-in-law. He's the sweetest. He's just the sweetest man. And I was just like, "Oh dear. Oh no, no, no." No, no, no. So we had a talk. We were just talking, and um I told her about the book, you know,
mhm,
about the Radical Forgiveness. I'm reading this book and it's really been very powerful. It's helping me shift some things. And she's like,
mhm.
she was just off in another direction. I don't want a book. I'm doing all this work. So the situation is that she felt like she was doing all the things and he was over here living his life, doing his things, oblivious.
Got it,
She's
got
like,
it.
what can I do? I've come to the end of myself. Right. And so while I'm on the phone with her, I get this thing like, send her the book. He just kept saying, send her the book.
Mhm,
And so while we're on the phone, I'm in Amazon and I sent her the book. It's
mhm,
like literally 2 days later, she calls me. She goes, you're not going to believe what I have to tell you. And I'm like, well, just lay it on me. She said, the book came. And I'm like, why would Evelyn send me this book? But she started reading it. And she hadn't even finished the book. She hadn't done or said anything. But my brother-in-law came up to her and he said, I'm going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
You
He
can try.
said, he said, oh my God, I am so sorry. I have been fill in the blank.
Mhm,
And he just basically came and bared his soul to her
mhm.
and said, you know, I don't want us to. She hadn't said anything to him yet either. She hadn't said, I'm ready to divorce
Right, right. You're
yourself.
sorry ass.
Right. But as if he knew, he came up to her and he's like, can we talk about this? I'm so sorry. And so she's like, I haven't even
Mhm.
finished reading the book. She said, I didn't say word number one to him, but she was reading the book and she was like, this is what I needed. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I was like the path
Yeah,
through.
yeah. Yes, yes, yes. And great questions, Evelyn, great questions. Um, there's an alchemical thing that
Mhm,
happens. And again, we're speaking high truth here. So when I shift my mind, my heart, and my consciousness and my perspective, everything that I impact through who I am being will be impacted. Now, you don't always know what that impact would look like.
mhm.
This is just a wonderful story. But when I changed me and my perception, and believe me, this happens in my classes all the time, where someone changes their mind, because I will say to people, don't talk to anybody yet. Because I don't want them like being half cocked and
Yep.
trying to change people. But when I change my perception of something, of someone, of a situation, when I do it inside of me, because, and this is, again, your friend's going to like this. This is where we go woo woo. Since there's only one, my shift, my healing, my forgiveness impacts the whole.
Yes.
And so it could have gone, but it could have gone where she felt empowered enough where she didn't have to be angry anymore,
Mhm.
but she created separation. So it can show up in different ways, but we are interconnected.
Yeah.
We are interconnected. So anything that changes one part of the formula, the other part must change. It
Yeah.
must change. And what you didn't say, but what one of the other most important parts of the work in my book is practically begging people to be willing to take responsibility.
That's huge.
Taking responsibility is not taking blame.
Yeah.
I want everyone to hear that. Taking responsibility says somewhere I am involved in the creation of this thing.
Mhm.
And so I have a little, can I read a little thing that's in
Go
the book?
ahead, please. Yeah.
So this is I'm calling it a mind shift. You can call it a spiritual mind treatment, an affirmative prayer. You can call it whatever you want. In my books, I call it mind shift because that is what we're shifting.
Yep.
And this one is use the instruction is use this mind shift wherever you continue to suffer by taking responsibility for what someone else did to you. So it's a different little perspective
Mhm.
for those who harmed me and for wherever I mistook responsibility. I now choose love, honor. I choose to love, honor, forgive, and release. Fill in the blank. I do so to free this person from my mind and heart, and I am made free. I choose to release this person completely. This is an act of self love for which I am so deserving. I reaffirm that I am made free. I choose to love, honor, forgive, and release myself for doing harm. I learn from my mistakes and rise above them. With gratitude, I release this word, and so it is. And and so throughout the book, the truth is, those are some of the best things I've done in the book. I read them, I'm go, "Ooh, that's good." So, there's many short and longer ones,
Mhm.
and these are you can call them affirmative prayers because the attachment that continues is stuck in our subconscious. And so when you use something like this, you are moving beyond your thinking mind. You're moving
Yes.
beyond the conscious mind to the subconscious. And I teach about the subconscious in the book. I have scripts, I call them scripts, that I strongly encourage that you read in your own voice and that you use at night before you go to sleep. And that's because at night your brain waves slow down and your subconscious is more available to them because I've heard people say 1,000 times in my classes, "I already forgave so and so," but you could tell they're still angry.
Yep.
It's because it's hovering in the subconscious, and you mentioned somatic before. Very often, unless we know how to speak into it, it's hovering in the cells of our body too. And that might sound a little, I don't know how it sounds to your listeners, but I'm telling you, if you've tried to let go and you can't, it might be because you're trying to just think it. What I'm talking about, even with a mind shift, is not the thinking of it, it's the consciousness of
Yeah.
it. And it takes the whole of you. There are many of these treatments in this book. It is really, the truth is, I think it's the best thing I've ever done. The book itself, I've made it easy to follow, and the thing, you have to be very gentle with yourself. Be gentle. Don't judge yourself while you're learning and whilst you're going through it. You're not here to make yourself wrong. Um, yeah, it really is a good book.
So have you made a Substack post about the book that I can
Uh,
share?
well, one is supposed to be going out tomorrow, specifically since it just came out. But I've had a variety of things that I post about forgiveness all the time. So I'll put something out more
Yeah, if you
specifically
post something about the book, then I
tomorrow.
can then share it when I share, because this what Substack will do is break this video down into clips,
Oh, okay.
and so then I can share the clips in notes, or people
Great.
can, if they wanna
Yeah.
watch the entire replay, then, they can do that,
Yeah.
but, it automatically breaks it down in these little clips. So if I
Yeah.
could have,
Sure.
like a
Absolutely.
link that I can say, "And here's the book that she's talking about throughout the video."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That
yeah.
and because I can tell we're winding up.
Yep.
And I know that your heart was in this, Evelyn, and you were a very good student, and
Thank you.
and I appreciate what you said about that we did it at a deep level.
Mhm.
I've been told that many times for people who went on to ministerial training,
Yep.
that the practitioner work they did in our community was definitely very powerful. The thing the what I want to leave every listener with,
Mm,
and it's a statement that's in what I call my presuppositions, is that you're never at the mercy of what was.
yeah,
Not now, not ever. However, you have to raise your awareness to not be at the mercy of it.
yeah,
And forgiveness is loving, the most self-loving thing anybody can do for themselves. It is it's very self-loving, and you deserve it. We
yeah,
each deserve it.
yep,
We deserve to be free. We deserve to to walk around clean and not angry.
yes. Beautiful,
Mm,
beautiful.
yeah,
So,
thank you.
yeah, so let me see, does anyone who's here, thank you all for hanging in there and for, finding this live stream.
We
Um,
certainly made it a moving target.
yes, we did. So does anybody have any questions, for Reverend Michelle that you wanna ask, as we wrap up? Um, I appreciate all the hearts and the support. Um, yeah, okay, I don't see any questions. I have a question, um, that I wanna ask you as we sort of close this down, and again, thank you so much for being here. Is it what do you feel is your contribution to the world that you want to see?
Other than this,
Encom encompassing whatever you wanna, yeah.
well, the thing I don't like to talk about pride in an egoic way, but the thing I feel deeply there I go getting emotional again.
It's been that kinda call.
Well, it's and I really have a lot of skin in this game.
Mhm.
I'm just you alone. I want you to be happy. And I want anyone first of all, the practice I practice as a practitioner of what I do,
Mhm.
I always practice do no harm.
Yes.
That's the most critical thing for me. And any of the healers out there, if there's any healers listening, we have to practice do no harm before we do anything else. But what I think is actually my gift and what I see as the results with students is that people begin to love themselves.
Yeah.
People begin to love themselves. And my spiritual teacher, I always speak her name,
Mm.
Rita Sperling, she said to any question, the answer is love yourself more.
Mm.
To any question. And I get behind that 100%. And so what I feel most deeply, profoundly satisfied with is that people do find their way back to themselves, even those who have had real trauma. Even they get to learn how to let go and find themselves back home in themselves. So that's what I feel good about. Oh,
Wonderful.
thanks. Thanks for all the hearts who's ever
Yeah.
doing this.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, and I mean, having known you for, I lost track of how many years, that I know that that is something that you embody, as a human being, and, so I'm grateful, to have been able to learn from you, and, yeah, it's just been, I don't know, I wanna say without, like, trying to sound sappy, like, life-changing, really life-changing,
Mhm.
like, because of what I learned in my practitioner training, it just really enhanced my ministerial training, and it has fed my ministry and my life. So, just truly grateful, and
Yeah,
I
thank
wish
you.
you yeah, you're welcome. I wish you all the best for your
Yeah,
book,
yeah, thank
and,
you.
don't forget to send me that little link so I can
Okay, I will do
share
that.
it with my audience, because I write a lot of about forgiveness on my channel, and so there's people who are interested in it. So, that would be awesome. So thank you all for being here. This was a beautiful conversation. And yeah, so be
Thank you
well.
for having me.
Yes.
Thank you. And
Good
to
night,
all the
everyone.
listeners, thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.